All right, so welcome back, everyone. Today is April 7th, 2023, and today we are going to talk about, we'll continue in Selenide. Today is day 2 in Selenide, and we will be talking about the common web element interactions, such as how do we interact with checkbox and radio button, and how to handle dropdown, how to interact with dropdown element, how to take care of alerts and iframes. And if you have time, I will also show you how to switch multiple windows, if the time allows. Again, we will have 2 sessions today, with my time, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., 2 sessions. You will have a break in between. So let's get started. First of all, yesterday, we just talked about the Selenide overall. So what is Selenide and how actually we are able to use Selenide to automate web applications. We pretty much checked some of the documentation. Here is the Selenide link right here. This is the official website. Actually, it is pretty good. Compared to normal Selenium website, this is better. So we have some here links that we can go through. Especially this quick start is very helpful, to get started. It tells us what to do to begin with, and we talk about, how to open a page, how to locate the element, how to type in an element, how to click elements, and how to do verification, how to do assertions with different ways. We also discussed, what are the different ways to, we compared the Selenide to Selenium. And just focused on also the page object model. I did a lot of research before I prepared the documents for you, and I could not find a good resource for the way that we are doing right now with Cucumber page object model. There is not any resource that I could find with this model. So I hope it is helpful and it will add a value for you. So we are able to create a design pattern, which is page object model, and we are able to use Cucumber Cucumber with Selenide to be able to create a framework in page object model. So, in our last session, maybe I am also planning to talk about the utility class reusable methods in Selenide, if the time allows again. So currently, we are just writing our test cases in a way that can learn the content. However, we can do better if we also learn how to create reusable Java methods that will easily and quickly let us automate the web applications. So if the time allows, if we finish early a little bit, so I'm planning to show you last session as well. Okay, so we talk about pretty much navigations, how to go to the specific links, how to put some weight, those hard weight, how to go back and forward, how to refresh the page. And by default, Selenide open the browser in which you don't have to use .close or .quit method in Selenide. There is also like close browser methods in Selenide, but we don't need to do that because system automatically closes the browser. What if I want to keep the browser open? I can just use configuration to hold the browser open. If we do that, if we use this reusable method, it is going to keep the browser open so we can manually close it. That is helpful for debug purpose. Then we talk about the locators. So make sure you are really good at finding locators, because without locating elements, you cannot do automation. It is basically the core of automation. We are finding the web elements and we are trying to automate those elements. We can either click, select, type, okay, check if that element is visible. So it is the core of the automation. Locators are core of the automation. It is in the center. And how did we automate? For example, we did a test case. To automate, pretty much we need to locate the page object first. For instance, we had a test page object. We have a link, and we created a page. Step one is locate the page objects by any locator. So if you have some Selenium background, you're already familiar with this syntax right here. But in Selenide, it is a little bit quicker. We can just either use this $sign to locate single element. This means give me one single element. If there is multiple match, this is going to return the first element only. And we can use here 8 locators, in Selenide, like ID, expat, partial text, etc. Or simply we can also use like CSS, for example. If I just write here something like name, something like name equals ABC. This is going to accept the CSS selector. If you are able to write a CSS selector, you don't have to use any by locator as well. We just mentioned about that yesterday. So we locate the elements. You can either use a function that return the web element, or you can use normal object that gives us the Selenide element. All of them are Selenide element. This is equivalent to web element in Selenium. Each and every single element on the page is Selenide element in terms of Selenide. So after we locate this, we are able to create our test case and call these elements. These must be public, so it can be reachable from other pages. We write page object, and then we are able to go to the test class, create the page object, and use that page object to reach each and every single object on that page. For example, we created username, and we are typing. We created password, we are typing. We created submit button, we are clicking, etc. So this is how we locate the elements. And assertion, quickly, from yesterday was, we learned 2 types of major assertion in Selenide. First way is to use normal Selenium, or not Selenium, but JUnit assertions or test-ng assertions. Okay. For example, if you are using Selenide with test-ng, you can use test-ng assertions. If you are using Selenide with JUnit, like we are doing right now, we can use JUnit assertions. Like it is pretty much assert true, assert false, assert equals. Those are also coming from Selenium. This is one type of assertion that we can easily use. Plus, what is the advantage of Selenide? Plus, we can actually use, like, we can use these should functions that is specific to Selenide. This should is easier to use. Like if you compare this assert and should functions, the way that we are using is different. So we don't have to use asserts function in this model. We just can use get the element, and if that element is working as expected, for example, if the text is matching, or if that element is visible, or if that element does not contain a specific text. So you don't have to use toString method, nothing. The web element normally do not return string. If you want to convert a web element to string, we have to use like that toString method and use that way. Normally, we should do that, but in here with Selenide, if you want to check if a web element contains a text, we can use this text function. If you want to see 100% match, you can use this function as well. Just exact text function. if you want to verify if an element is visible, then you can use that visible function. And I said yesterday, normally these functions are coming from condition API, right? But normally, since these are static, there is additional information with Java. These are static methods. We don't need to use the class name. We call them directly. Right? So if you want to go to that class, here, for example, visible, these are in static. So should be visible, should be hidden, etc. You can also check all of these classes that is coming from Selenide. That is condition class. That is condition dot visible, condition dot check, condition dot appear, condition dot disappear, condition dot editable, condition dot empty, condition dot enable, disable, selected. So we will use those today. Selected as well. I will show you more example. But in summary, in Selenide there are multiple should function that is very, very useful and easier to use, and you have more option. Okay, if you just click on control and click on this visible, it will take you to condition plus it is coming from Selenide, and you can see what type of condition that you have. You can check if an element is visible, if an element is existing or hidden. This is also a very common issue in automation. If an element is hidden, you have problem, right? To automate that. Yeah, or if the element is interactable or editable, empty image, if the element is in image, selected, unselected, these are all useful Selenide, verification or assertion methods. All right, that was about the assertion summary. So that's what we did yesterday pretty much. Let's get into today's topic. Today, first of all, we are going to talk about the radio button and checkbox. So these are common elements and they are not very difficult to understand. So it should be a bit quicker to learn. Checkbox and radio button is one of the common element on the pages. We can pretty much use click method to click on a checkbox on a radio button. We can also automate if an element is checked or unchecked. We can automate if really an element is clicked or unclicked, checked or unchecked. Okay. Examples. We can assert, or actually we can first check if a radio button or a checkbox is actually checked or unchecked. For example, this method is going to check if an element is unchecked. It means it is not selected already. So if something is not selected, we can select it by just clicking on it. We can just locate the element and click on it. This is going to make it the check radio button or checkbox checked. And then after click, you can also assert if an element is actually checked. So what it means? It means we are going to just do a simple assertion. We are going to have checkbox or radio button. The radio button is unchecked. Okay. If it is unchecked, then click on it. Clicked on it. Then now verify if that is checked. Okay. That will return then true. So we pretty much will have this logic to automate the checkbox and radio button. Let's quickly do it. So this is going to also help us to understand the power of Selenide assertions. So first of all, let's create a new future file. Okay, let's create a new future file. Please right click on the futures folder and name it 05 underscore radio and radio button underscore checkbox dot feature. Okay, let me share this name from the chat. Okay, just a second. Go. So next, we are going to write a future file. Let's write a future file. Right. Okay. Let me write a future file. Okay. Now the future file will be starting with feature keyword, as you know, and I will say here radio and checkbox. Button. Okay, radio button and checkbox. Say here also and checkbox. Next, we are going to create our test scenario, and this will be test case 1, which will be, let's say, checkbox. Let's start with checkbox, and let's do a manual test case. So what is our use case in this example? I will share you a link with you to automate this test case. I'm sharing from the chat. All right. So check success. Okay. So this is the page that I shared with you. In here, there are checkboxes. And what we will do is we will click on this checkbox if not already checked or if not selected. Okay. And here we will click on this checkbox if it is not selected as well. If not selected. And then we will do assertion. We will do assertion. And at the end, we will do assert and make sure both are selected. Okay. So this is the test case. So what we mean is we are going to click on this to see if it is at the end of the test execution to see if it is checked. And this is already checked. This will not be clicked. So we want to make sure both are selected at the end of our automation script. This is the test case. And as always, we first need to locate these two elements. Let me right click and locate the elements. Okay. So this is the element. This one has an ID of box 1. This is ID of box 2. So these are the locators. Box 1 is the web element of the first checkbox, this one right here. And the ID of, or the locator of the second element is box 2. I'm going to locate them in the page object, page class. Right here, right click, new, Java class. Oh, actually, we already have test page right here. Okay, we already have test page right here. Please go to your test page. And then let's locating checkboxes. Locating checkboxes, okay? So we are going to locate these checkboxes. Let's locate them. We will say public Selenide element checkbox 1 is equal to. Let's copy this template. Okay, and we are going to say by that ID is equal to what was the ID of the checkbox? It is box 1. Box 1. Nope. This is box 1 is the checkbox 1. And we already observed that the web element of the second element is box 2. Okay, this is box 2. These are the locators. We will interact with these. That is step 1, right? We located the checkboxes, and I am putting the name in here because this page will be a bit longer. So just make sure you also use the same syntax. I'm going to share the elements from the chat. And also let's write our test cases. Our test case will be given. I navigate to this page, which is the page that I shared with you. This one right here. Okay. We will go to this page, and then I will try to make them reusable, so you can also, feel comfortable about using reusable methods. And I click on checkbox 1 if not already selected. Okay, I will just write this method. And I am trying to make this reusable because I am just trying to parameterize this step because, in that case, we might write less step. It will make our job easier in the long run. Right, so let me share this with you. This is my first step. And let's give a tag on this. Tag will be, this will be radio and checkbox. This is my tag. So we created the page object. Yeah, created the future file. Now we need to generate step definition. So to generate step definition, I will pretty much do dry run true in here. Now dry run false, I will do dry run true, and I will run this tag right here. And let's run it to generate my missing step definition. There we go. So this is my missing step definition. This is my template. I'm going to write my Java code to click on the checkbox 1 if it is not already selected. So let's do it. And where this Java code will go? Right here, step definitions. It is not going to go under Google. It is not going to go under Techpro. It is going to go under test page step definition. Also, put a note here. This is checkbox radio. I'm just putting some section in there, so it will be easier for us to find later on if needed. So all I'm going to do right now is, let me share this to you as well. This is Java template, my step definition. All I have to do right now is to complete my Java code, which is just pretty much to click on the checkbox 1. So again, there are some automation scripts that can be done easily with just checking the boundaries or checking some different use cases. If you try to create the good automation test case, in that case, you need to be careful about the complete steps. what I mean? I mean, we said if it is not already selected. Okay? So if it is not already selected, it means we are going to put a condition. So if this test page element, we already created the test page object yesterday, so I'm going to use that. If the test page element has a checkbox 1, if checkbox 1 is selected, if checkbox 1 is selected, this is going to check if it is already clicked, if it is already checked, if it is selected. But I want to put if not selected, if not. In Java, we put this exclamation mark to opposite, not selected. Then go ahead and click on checkbox 1. Okay, this sounds simple. However, we can put here more condition to make sure, to double check if it is not selected. So what I can do is, if checkbox, to make sure, first make sure checkbox 1 is already not checked. So I will say first should not checked. At this point, it should not checked. I can say condition.checked or simply checked like that. Okay, if it is, oh, here actually I need to import that static. Here. Static. Anyway, let me not worry about it. So I'm going to put this condition.checked. Okay, let's say condition.checked. If I import that static, I don't need to say condition, but it is not going to hurt us. So condition.checked. So if checkbox 1 is not checked, it is not selected, it should not be checked. We are double checking. Then after the click, now it should be checked. Test page, checkbox 1, now should be condition.checked. We can say that. Okay. So now what we are saying is we are checking if it is not checked. If it is not checked, then make sure it is not checked. Then click on the checkbox, then make sure it is checked. So we are both doing assertion with if statement. We are just doing double check to make sure that we are not missing anything out. This is one thing. This will let us click on it. And also let me put here last step is and keep what was the assertion, what was the method that we did. I don't want to close the browser because I want to see if it is checked or not checked. I will also add that. Okay. So let's run it. Let me share the future file one more time. I'm sharing the future file. I am also sharing the step definition. Share the step definition. This is the new one. Let me also share this test page objects that is already created. So these 3 pages we are using right now, and I'll now complete the automation. So now let's run it. I'm going to run it to see if it is already checked or not checked. Okay, so checkbox 1 is not checked already, so I'm expecting it to be clicked. And then I'm expecting this assertion to pass. Okay, let's see, it is not clicked. Check why. test page, checkbox 1 is selected. If it is not selected, okay, let's check why is the problem. Step definition undefined. Oh, okay. Just a second. Let me run one more time from the runner. I will make try run true and run, try run false and run. Okay, now it is working fine, but let's see if it is gonna find our step definition. Yeah. Now, guys, sometimes, as I said yesterday, the latest updates is not, reusable immediately available. So I just ran twice. It worked. So here, checkbox 1 was not checked. Now it is checked. So this is what we want to do as part of this test case. So here, what you need to remember is how we are doing assertion. Click is easy. Click section is easy. So we know that we can click on checkbox. This is easy. But also, I want you to focus on the logic of automation testing. So we cannot just say, "Hey, go to the page and then do click." No, it is not. It is missing. You have to be organized and logically. Your test case should cover even simple use cases. In this case, our test case is covering more than enough. So we are making sure if it is not selected, double check. If it is not actually selected at that point, then click. Then now it should be checked. This is the logic. Even, we can put here our, right here. Right here, what we can do is we can add one more condition because I parameterize this for a purpose. So I don't want to create same step one more time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna also use this name. So checkbox 1. I did this for a purpose, for reusability purpose actually. So I will check. I will say, for example, let me say this. Okay, before you understand, before we continue, you should understand one thing: my logic. What if I want to click on checkbox 2, right? So I want to click on checkbox 2. Now this step is using this method. The second step is also using this method, same method. And there's a problem because in the first one I am saying click on checkbox 1. In the second one I am saying checkbox 2. So what we can do is we can use. So my goal is to create less Java code with better testing algorithm and better testing logic. So what I will do is, let me write and it will make sense to you. I will put another checkpoint in my if statement, which is I will say if checkbox 1 is not selected, then I can also add one more, logic here, not mandatory, but I will say here, and this string, which is at this point, checkbox 1, and string equals checkbox 1, something like that I can add, okay? Then it is making more condition, but this is not required. Okay? I'm just putting it for you to see. One more thing is, so since checkbox 1 and checkbox 2, this step and this step is using the same step definition, which we want. I don't want to create two different step definition. In that case, we are creating redundant methods. So all I have to do is right now here is else if checkbox 2 Okay, test page. Go to test page and give me checkbox 2 is not selected. Okay, checkbox 2 is not selected. Then click on checkbox 2. And I will just copy this condition and change the elements. Okay. Then checkbox 2 should not be checked. Then click on checkbox 2 and then make sure checkbox 2 is now checked. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do more than one logic in one Java method. I could have created 2 different Java methods, but this is better. Let me share this with you. Now we will test it. Okay, I will check the error during the break. Just a second. The test page. Yeah. So now let's run the test class. I'm going to run this one more time. So at the end of the day, both of the checkboxes should be checked, fully checked. Running. See? Yeah, Stefan, looks like you did put your step definition inside another step definition, okay? So you should do like this. Here, you put the whole step in here like that. So we should not do that. If you do it, make sure you get out of the method and then put after. Right? Okay. Perfect. Okay, so this is pretty much it. I want to show you really quick the radio button as well. So radio button use case as well. So what I want to do is in the same method, you will see, I want you to understand the reusability, okay? Anybody can maybe click on the checkbox or radio button, but not too many people can have a good, strong logic in the automation script. So as that, we should be careful on writing our Java logic. So it can be covering, so one method can do more than one thing, more than one automation script. So for that, let's do second test case. This will be about radio button. And we are going to write our test script. So let's go to the same page. Here, I will find the radio button. Buttons. So let's go to this link. Let's go to this link. And what we are going to do is we are going to click on some of these. Okay, for example, in here, basketball or football or hockey or water polo. So we will do that. First, let's click on, or here we can click on red, yellow, black, football. For example, let's click on red. Let's click on red. So by default, blue is clicked, so we will click on red. So let's write a step definition, and you will see how quick it will be. The power of Cucumber reusability. So guys, first we will go to that page. Let me copy all these. Please do exactly the thing that I am doing right now. Okay. All we have to do is change the URL. Change the URL. URL is right here. There it is. Watch. I said anybody can code, but not too many people can do a good coding that covers the endpoint. For example, here, if I say red, do you think it will just click on red? It is going to click on red. What is it going to do? It is not here. It is not here. What it will do? I just want this method to be very powerful, so that when I say red, it should click on red. When I say, for example, green, it will click on green. When I say football, it will click on football. Let's say here, for example, I said red. I will say stuff. I will say, for example, yellow. Let me copy the name. Yellow, right? And then I will maybe say, let me copy this stuff and then show you what I mean. This is test case 3. So this second test case will click on red. The third case will click on yellow. Okay. But is it gonna actually work at this point? Or what I can do to make it work? So we, as that, we should think like how we can make our automation script cover more than one use case. So here, currently, it is not going to cover nothing. First of all, we are going to find the page object as always. Let's go ahead and find the page objects. For instance, we will find the yellow option right here, or red option right here. It's located. Okay, this ID red. The locator of yellow is ID yellow. So we will say, let's go to our page object. I'm going to locate the pages. So let's locate. Locating radius. Public Selenide element like red is equal to the locator of red was it has an ID, and ID of the element is red. And I will do also yellow. Public Selenide element yellow. The ID of that yellow option was pretty much yellow. Let's also locate one more. Let's locate from here, for example, football. What is the locator of football? Radio button, this guy right here. Right click inspect. It is football. Let's also locate that. Public Selenide element football is equal to by ID and football. There we go. Okay, so this is the locators. Now let me share this. Let me share the whole page with you. This is the test page objects from the Slack channel. Then right now, I'm going to go to my page and I will say else if test page, for example, red is not selected, then go to test page, red, click. Okay. Of course, I can do all this stuff. Let me also copy all this stuff and put it here. And then I will say, if the red is not selected, make sure it is not checked. Then click on the red. Then now that red should be checked. Okay. And also I will add one more else if, for example, test page let's say yellow, is not selected, then I will add this. Yellow should not be checked in that case. If it is not checked, then click on it. Then now yellow should be clicked. And finally, we had one more, which is football that I added. Test page. Football is selected. Then if it is not selected, then of course, make sure it is not selected. Then click on it. Then make sure it is not checked anymore. So I will also share this whole class with you. This is the test page step definition that we started in our last class yesterday. Right. So now, let's see our automation script works. Let's see our automation script works right here. We did checkbox 2, so radio 2 for red, radio 3 for yellow, radio 4 for this is for football. Okay. So there are some problem here that I will explain in a minute, but let me, for example, run radio 2, only this one. So I just want to click on red. I just want to click on red. Let's see if it is letting us click on red only. Script is running. Well, let me also hold the browser open. Second. Yeah. Let me run one more time. So we are now making sure that we are able to, when there are multiple elements on the page, we are able to, take care of it. So now here, the method is trying to run, execute. It's letting me, says step failed. So step failed, and me read the error message here. Line 30, it says if checkbox 1 is selected. Okay, if checkbox 1 is selected. This is giving us some problem like no such element exception. What we can do is we can put all of them in try catch and try catch, but it will be able to execute the whole thing with no issue. Try to catch. Okay, let me try one thing. Okay, let me try one thing. So let me try to put some condition. So I will say at the beginning, okay, we can do try catch, but I will say one condition. So to take care of everything in one single step. That condition will be, I will say, I put this string for a purpose. Okay, I will say if string is equal to, for instance, let me open in this next page, split, right? Okay. If my string, if the string that I am passing is checkbox 1, okay. If it is checkbox 1, if my string is equal to checkbox 1, and checkbox 1 is not selected, then go in here. Okay, then we will not get any error, because if this is true, if we are trying to click on checkbox 1, then it will try to execute this first if. Else if I will do the same content, same logic. If I am trying to click on checkbox 2, if the data that I am passing is equal to checkbox 2 and checkbox 2 is not already selected, then execute that. Same logic. If checkbox, let's say take the radio button right now. If the data I am setting is red, oh, I put it wrong place, right here. Let's say string equals red. If the data I am sending is red and test page, that red checkbox is not, red radio button is not selected, then execute this code. And finally, yellow, copy this and put yellow right here. Again, there are many way you can keep playing with the logic in the Java section. So I'm just want to focus on this Java section a little bit, this part of this test case, because without a strong Java knowledge, your test script will not be good. It will be either not catching the bug or it will keep failing depending on some use cases. So that's why when we start automating, our logic should be good. So what I just did, for example, I want to execute this step. So my string is checkbox 1. If then this will be true, then it will check the second section. This will check if I am trying to click on checkbox 1. This will check if checkbox 1 is not selected. This section will check if I am trying to click on checkbox 2. This section will check if it is not already selected. And this section will check if I am trying to click on red. The second section will check if it is not already selected. So based on that, it will execute our logic. For example, it will check the last test, which is football. If my string is equal to football, then it will execute this section. This will be true. Then it will check if that football is already selected, then it will do the test execution. So I will share the final step definitions. Again, there are many different ways. You can either use try-catch, or you can use multiple step definition, or you can actually use, another logic that you want to prefer. So it is all up to the tester. So now I will execute the entire future file. Let's see how it goes. What I'm trying to show you is sometimes some simple test cases seems very easy, but we should focus on the reusability. We should focus on the logic, overall logic, and the script should catch the bug, catch the issue as well. So now we are on the radio button section. Did I miss any problem? Let's see. It is failing. Okay, problem. I missed something when I copy paste. Let me check. Oh, it passed. Okay. Hold on. It didn't pass. Let me check what is the problem. ID box 1. Oh, our locators are not correct, looks like. Let me go ahead and fix the locators. Let me see. Yours pass, mine is not. Let me try to run from the runner. So it looks usually. Let me run from runner. Let me run from the runner. So why we need should not checked after is not selected. Yeah, why we need? We don't need, actually. We don't need. I just want to show you that if you put, it is not going to hurt the execution. Once we don't put, it will also be fine. But I am putting just extra, making sure that there is not already, it is not checked, or it should not be checked. Before click, then it should now be checked. But again, it is not required. It is not required. Something is not passing with my test execution. Oh, now it is okay. Let me see. Yeah, now it is, guys, it passed, okay, it passed. So now, again, sometimes when I run from the future file, it is having problem. Are you able to get your test passed? Is it passing for you or not? Let me know from the chat. Passed? Perfect. Okay, do you have any question on the Java logic? I just want to show you different things in this as part of this question. And I want you just to focus on or understand actually the automation script should be a little bit strong, you know, not a little bit, but it should be as strong as possible. And sometimes it might be easier to keep creating new step definition. But as you see, in Cucumber, I put here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different test case I created, but I'm able to handle all of them in one Java code, which is good. So I could have created one for each, then it would not be reusable. Now this is reusable. I can now click on any of these elements. It is possible. Okay, so let's continue on the next topic. I shared the code from the chat as well. So in summary, in radio button and checkbox, we are able to click on those checkboxes or radio buttons. Pretty much just use click method. And should not checked is used to check if it is in fact not already checked. And these are very strong. It is even stronger than is selected, because this is like coming from Selenide, and they are used for assertions if a radio button or a checkbox is already checked or not checked. All right, so it is pretty much it. Now, before the break, I would like to just talk about the drop down, so we can completely take a break after the drop down. So I want to show you now how to interact with drop down in Selenide. So it is in Selenium. If you already again take Selenium classes, it is a little bit longer and a little bit harder than interacting with normal elements, because dropdown is created using a special HTML tag, which is select tag. The select tag is used to create dropdown on the web pages, and it is pretty much used to store multiple options, such as years, or months, or dates, or car inventory. Okay, so as you see, there are a list of elements that are stored in the website using this select tag, and this is what it creates right here. Okay, for example, 2023 is here, 2022 option is here, 2021 option is here, and all these drop downs should have an option tag. If developer choose to create a drop down using select tag, and usually it is what it is, but developer must put some options tag, and usually they also have value attributes. So there are 3 ways to choose option from a drop down. Way 1 is use index. Index start at 0. if I want to choose 2023, then I would put here select option 0. I put in this example 1, so it will select 2022. This one right here. This is way 1. Put index. Or I can put select option by value by using select option by value. This is going to the value of the option that you want to select. So here, the value of the 2022 is right here, 2022 as well. And usually developer give the same, this text, and the value usually is the same, but it can be different. But usually it is the same. So when I say select option by value, I have to pass this value right here. Last option is we can select the option by visible text. So for example, what do you see on the screen? The visible texts are here, the middle one. These are visible text. Okay, yeah, text. Or you can simply check from the UI. These are also text. Right, the text of the element. So these three options we can choose. Usually index is a little bit risky. If you know, for example, you want to choose 2016. What is the index of 2016? But it is possible. Or if you want to choose by text, if you know the text, you can use text of the option. If you know the value, you can also use the value of the element. These are three options that we have to select an option from a dropdown. They are index, value, and visible text, just like Selenium. But the difference here is it is easier to interact or select the element from the dropdown. We don't need to create a select object as we do in Selenium. In Selenium, it is different. You have to create select object to interact with dropdown. In Selenide, no more select needed. All we have to do is locate the elements and use one of these. Right? So let's do one example. Let's do one example. Drop down. Right. So let me share the link for you. Rather than recording will be put on LMS. Yes, they will be also in YouTube. Now we are doing English recordings. It will be in English channel. Also, they will be. I need to check with the department. They can put in the LMS as well. So, all right. So the test cases, red and yellow seem not. I think they were clicked. Right? We checked. They were clicked. But we can check again. But I think you get the point. So sometimes you can run from the runner to make sure that it is clicking properly, or you can put some wait, put some sleep. Otherwise, it is going very fast. Put some sleep after. Let me show you that. So the question was, those are not clicked. Maybe you can put here sleep. Sleep. Sleep 3 seconds, then it will be helping you. But I will not put because it is making my framework a little slower. All right, going back to dropdown. Now our use case is, there are many dropdowns on the page that I shared with you. For example, here you can click on 2022 by index, by value, by visible text. If I inspect this element, here is the dropdown. Here is the dropdown. Here, okay. This is created by using select tag. It has an ID and it has options. This is normal dropdown. There is also like multiple selectable dropdown. This is also a dropdown. When I inspect it, this is also select tag, but there is a multiple attribute. We are able to select multiple options. Okay, like this. The logic is the same. We are just going to focus on the first one, okay, as the recording purpose. As always, we first need to, let's create our future file. Then create the step definition, then write the Java code as always. Copy this link. Right, let's create our new feature file, which is 06 underscore dropdown dot feature. And I'm going to say here feature keyword dropdown test case scenario test case 01. Okay, selecting, for example, birth year. Given, as always, we will go to the page. Given where is our navigation? Navigate to this link. Given I navigate to this link, and I select, and I select, let's say, select the year as, for example, 20 or 2000, right? 2000, let's say I select the year as 2000. And I select the months as, for example, June. And say let's put a complete sentences. And I select the day as, for example, 10th. Let me share this with you. This is our feature file. And I forgot to put a tag. Let me put a tag as well. The tag will be drop down. Okay, make sure you use also that tag. Step 1 is this. Step 2. Let's generate the step definition this time. I'm going to go to runner and then do dry run false, dry run true to generate my step definition. Going here, running my drop down. Anyway, let's make it false. You can do the dry run false or true. If you say dry run false, it will run the working steps first. Okay, let's see. Then it will generate our missing step definition. So we got here select year, select month, select day. These are the missing step definition. I will put them in our step definition class, which is test page step definition class right here. Okay, so make sure, guys, you go in the right place just before the last closing tag right here. Put your step definition in there, and I will put here a note. Drop down related step definitions are here. Drop down related step definition. Clean up the warning messages, exceptions here, and let me share the entire step definitions one more time. Okay, created feature file, generated step definition. Now we just need to do the page objects. Locate the page object, and we need 3 objects: one for year, one for month, one for day. Let's go. One for year, one for month, one for day. Let me inspect. This one has an ID actually, ID year. So I'm going to locate this by ID. The second one has ID month. This third one has ID day. I can use those ID to locate the web elements. Let's do that. My page class. Right here, locating. Drop down elements. Let's do it. So public Selenide element. We are going to get our elements. The first one was year. And if you remember, the locator for that element is, we can use ID. The ID was year. This is the year element. And we will have a month element. The ID of the month was month. And the day of the ID of the day is day. These are the elements. I will double check. Year, month, and day. Yeah, IDs are there. So we located the drop-down elements that we need. We need those drop-down elements. So next is to select the options. We need to select the options. Let's select the options in the drop-down using the automation script. Guys, by the way, in Cucumber, this is a Cucumber feature. If you just put an integer like that, the system automatically parameterizes that data. Okay, that is good because you don't need to keep creating new steps to select a year in the next time. So if you use string, it will also parameterize. But if you use just integer like that, it will also parameterize, which is good. So if you are wondering why we are getting this, because we use integer. So I'm going to first select the year. Test page dot year dot okay. So when we say this, element, we should see some options. Okay, we can get the selected option, blah blah. These are also related to drop down. But what I want to do is I want to use select option. Okay, select option. Select option. So when we use select option, we can provide an integer or a string. Integer or a string. If you put integer, it is going to look for index. If you put option, it will give us, sorry, if you put string, it will give us the value. So it is what it is. For that reason, I am going to use, for example, select option. If I say, the index of 2022, I can do that. So what is the index of 22? But in that case, we have to count one by one, right? It is very tough. Sorry, 2000. The index of 2000, 0, 1, 2, 3. It is probably 20 or 21 right here. Sorry, it is going to be 24 right here. But does it make sense to use index? Does it make sense to count? It doesn't look professional. So what I can do is I can select this option by value. What is the option of value? What is the value of that 2000? Right here. The value is 2000 right here. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to locate that element by value. By value. So I can do this, okay, simply. This is going to locate by value. But in that case, it is not reusable again. Whenever you want to select a year, it will select 2000. If you put here, 2007, it will select 2000 right now. If you put 2009, it will still select 2000 because you are hard coded this. You should not hard code. We should get from the future file. How? Yeah, it is a little bit Java. So we need to get the string value of that integer, string value. In Java, we use string dot value of this int1. So we are getting the string value of, this is gonna pretty much right now, it is the same as this. Same as this. So the integer will be passed because it's an integer. It will be passed here. But to convert that into a string, we need to use string value of. So this is selecting by value because this is string. Next thing is select the month as something. Select the month. I'm gonna go to the test page and get the month object, month dot select option again. Select option. Select option. Right now, I am going to select the option by visible text. Visible text. I will just pass here. Right here, string. Yeah, actually, I made a mistake right here. I will fix it in a minute. Okay. Because in here, I can say, this is going to give me the visible text as well. So we have an option called, just a second, select option by value. Okay, right here, this one. We can use that to select the option by value. Let me put that. There we go. Selecting by value. Okay, sorry about that. This is selecting by value. This is selecting by visible text. Selecting by visible text. Okay. Now, the last thing is we can select the data by index if we want to. We can select the by index if you want to. And I'm going to select the day by index. Go to the test page and get the day. And then select by option. So yeah, this is what I was trying to say. If you pass select option integer, it will look for index. If you pass select option string, it will check for visible text. If you check select option by value, it will accept the string and it will look for the value, right? So let me select that and it will put int1. But if I set int1 again, it will be checking the index. However, you should put -1 because index starts at 0. Index starts at 0. So if I put here, if I want to select 10th option, or let's say here an example, if I want to select the second option, I should put index of 1. If I want to put third option, I should put index of 3 minus 1, which is 2. Fourth option, 4 minus 1, which is 3. So whatever I put here, I want to say, right here, for example, option 10. What is the index of option 10? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What is the index of option 3? 0, 1, 2. So for that reason, I just put 0 minus index minus 1. Okay. So again, to wrap up, dropdown can be handled easily by the select option functions. Select option by value. I paste the value. Select option by string. This will check for visible text. Select option. If I pass integer, it will automatically look for index. So these three are useful methods. Let me share this from the chat and run the test case. I'm going to run my script to see if I'm able to select June 10, 20. So June 10, 2000. Let's see. Okay, no, nothing yet. Waiting. What? I will run again. Let me not close the browser. And I hold the browser open. Let me run from the runner. I'm running from the runner. (2023) April 7 right now. Let's see. 2000 June 10. Yeah, there we go. Okay. June 2000, June 10 is now selected. We can select like this if we want to. After the break, let me see. We'll take a break. Yeah. After the break, I will show you one more way to, select from the drop down, which is important. That's why I will show you one more way to get the list of the element and select the one that you want. We can do that. For example, I can get all of the elements in a list and then select, for example, Montana or select Ohio. How we can do that with Selenide? We will do it after the break. Okay, let's take 10-minute break. Okay, 10-minute break. If you have any issue, let me know during the break. I can stop recording and help you. 10 minutes break. Come back at 12:35. All right, everyone, can you hear me? From chat. If you are able to hear me. See. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So I would like to show you one last thing about dropdown. Then we will go into the new topic. So I showed you just a couple, before the break, that we have 3 different ways to select single option from a dropdown. What if we try to get all of the elements in a list, then select the option that we want? For example, I want to get all of the options in a list because we want to make it dynamic, right? Maybe there are here now 50 options. Maybe next year it will be 51. Maybe some of them will be removed. It will be 40. Just giving some use cases. In that case, if you use index or maybe some visible text, get option with visible text, we can get some exception. For example, today I clicked on here 30. What if in February there is no more 30? What do? You know, it will fail because you can, if you use visible text or index or something like that or value, it will fail. So we can make our code dynamic for a drop-down element. So what I will do is I will create one more one more step in my Cucumber step definition right here. Sorry, Cucumber future file. And in that case, before I hold the browser open, in that case, I will just make a code that is more dynamic. For example, and let's say I select, let's say I get the list of states, US states, okay, states, and click on, for example, one of the option, which is, let's determine an option. Let's say my home state, Texas. I will click on select Texas. Okay. So this is what it is. This is my new step. Let me share from the Slack chat. And I will generate my step definition by making dry run true, run, generate the step definition. Yeah, there it is. Copy that step definition and use it in your step definition class. Test page step definition class. Okay, now let me add at the end. Okay, now we are going to write a Java code that will get all of the options from that dropdown, and it will click on the options that I put. If I put Texas, it will select Texas. If I put California, it will click on California. If I put here, for example, Arkansas, it will click on this option, right? So first, let's test with Texas. And my logic is to get the options in that, to get the options as a list or element collection and to select the option that I want. So let's do it. First of all, I need to create the page object for that returns all of the single options, right? I need to write an XPath that is going to return all of the options, not just this drop-down element, okay? Not just this. Sorry, let me go here, inspect. Not just this, but each and every single element inside that drop-down. How can I do that? How can I write an XPath that will return all of the options? It is easy. So I'm going to say here, I'm going to put the attribute, sorry, the tag, which is select. Give me the select. This is the tag. And it has an ID of state. Square bracket at ID equals state. Okay. If I use that, it is going to return me all of the, not all of the options, but just one whole dropdown. It is like a, you can think it as a bread. That bread needs to be sliced. That bread needs to be sliced. Each and every single one of these are sliced. And to get that slide, I can go to the child of option tag. Option. There we go. We are able to write an XPath that returns all of the options from that dropdown. Okay, so it looks like there are 52 states, not 52 states, 51 states plus this one, plus this option 52. So I'm gonna copy this, get this. That is gonna return me all of the options one by one. My option. I'm gonna go to the page, test page right here. So let's locate the element public. If you remember, I can either do list of Selenide element to put all of those options in a list, because I don't get one option, I get multiple options. I have to use list. If I use just Selenide element, it will return me the first option only. I can use list of Selenide element, or the better one is the element collection. Elements collection. Yep. This is plural form of this. I will say all states is equal to. And remember, there was one more difference between single element and multiple element. I have to use double $sign. That means this is, I am expecting multiple elements. By expat, there we go. So this is going to return all of the options from that state dropdown, and I am able to put it in a collection. So now I have all those 50 states, 51 states in this element. Share this. Then I'm gonna go complete my logic, Java logic. So the logic is, I will loop through that list and click on the one that I passed. How can I put it in a condition? I will put a for loop. You can use lambda expression as well, but I will use just for loop. Selenide element, each state inside that test page dot all states. Each state from the states, if each state, I will get text of each state. I will get the text of each state. If each state text is equal to the data that I am passing, which is the string. In this case, string is equal to Texas, because in my future file, there is a Texas option. Then I will just say each state, or let's say, here, not instead of each state, I will say my state, okay, my state dot. Then I will click on my state dot. I will then select that state. Pretty much, I will just say click. Okay, this is pretty much it. Then I will put a break, otherwise it will keep looping. Okay, whenever this condition is true, whenever, in this example, by the way, in my example, string is equal to Texas, because I use Texas option in here. It will be passing from future file to Java code. Then if that, it will loop through one by one from the option. For example, it will go through the option, which is right here. First option will be Alabama, then Alaska, then Arizona. It will go loop through one by one, and it will check if the option is Texas, then stop. Get into the if statement and click on it. Get into the statement and click on it. Okay. So this is what we did. Oh, where is my IntelliJ go? IntelliJ, let me open one more time and complete the test. All right, there it is. Okay, then click on the Texas option. Then done. Don't stop stop looping. We can even print all of the options just to make sure if our code is working. Get my state and print text. Text. Here's what we can print. Printing the options. Okay. So yeah, it is indexing. Let me wait for a couple seconds. Then meanwhile, let me know if you have any question. If you have any question on the logic. This is alternative option. So in here, if you want to click on specific option that you know, for example, select year as 2000, select the day as 10, select the option as Tesla, select the state as Texas. If you know that, you can use those select option by value, select option. Or if you make it more dynamic, you can use this logic. You can get all of the drop-down option and then loop and then put your if condition. In my case, I just want to click on the Texas option. Let me do try run false right now to run my test case. Yeah, I'm running the test case. And I'm expecting this also to pass, to select the Texas option. Let's see. Now system is going to select this 2000 June 10, and then the script select the Texas option. And as you see, we are able to print all of the options until Texas. Then the system just use break and then get out of the loop. All right, but this is pretty much it. We are able to select that option as well. This is alternative way that you can deal with drop-downs. Okay, so that is it for drop-down. Let me continue. Pretty much drop-down is used to store set of element, and we can interact with drop-down using select option or select option by value, or we can use also the loop logic to make the code more dynamic. So if I actually want to select, for example, let's say California. Now the system is going to click on California. And if I want to select, for example, 2009, let's say January, and let's say 7, let's say 17. I'm selecting this state, and state is here. Let's run one more time to make sure that our code is working for different data. All right, let's see if we are able to select that dates and the state of California. Okay, yeah, 29 January 17, California. Perfect. Okay, so we are good for this reusable drop-down content. I will go to the new topic without waiting anymore. Right now, we have actually 2 more topics for today to complete. The first one is alert. The second one is frames, iframes. Let's see if we are able to finish it today. If not, we will continue tomorrow from the same spot. Alerts. What is alert? It is pretty much a JavaScript functionality. When developers create a website user interface, they might use these JavaScript handlers. Okay, these are JavaScript handlers. On-click is a specific, handler in JavaScript that is used to generate window alerts, browser alerts. There are, these alerts are actually used for informational purpose. So if I want to give a message to the user, a visible message to the user as a pop-up, then I can use that informational alerts. And alert has 3 different ways. We have 3 different alerts. For example, alert bugs, confirm bugs, and prompt bugs. Alert, simple alert, confirm alert, prompt alert. I will show you just prompt because this is going to cover everything. So in Selenium, we also have similar content. In Selenide, the content logic is the same, but the way that we handle alert is a little bit different. So in Selenide, we use WebDriver runner. I talked about this one yesterday. So this WebDriver runner is kind of WebDriver class in Selenium. Here we have WebDriver runner. It is easy to use. We can just call the WebDriver runner, get WebDriver method to get the active driver. Then with that driver, we are going to switch to the alert. If there is an alert on the page, it must be handled. Otherwise, you cannot continue. For example, if you manually use a website and if there is an alert, you have to either click OK or cancel. You don't have another option to continue. If alert is there, you cannot click on anywhere else. So automation is the same. If there is an alert, you have to either click OK or cancel. How do you click OK? You cannot inspect, you cannot locate these elements. For that reason, you have to use special techniques, which is switch to the alert and then click accept to click OK. Switch to alert, dismiss to click cancel. Switch to alert to read the message on a text on an alert. You can use getText method to read that message, to get that message as a string. Or you can also type something in the dialog box right here. This is prompt box, prompt alert. You can use this send keys method to type something in here. Okay, so this is pretty much it. So we covered, what is alert, how it is created, and what should be done when we have an alert. And let's see now in an example. I'm going to go to the future and I will here new file and I will say 07 underscore alerts dot feature. Feature. Okay, so let's create a future scenario for this alert, and I will go to our test page. Let's see, alerts, JavaScript alert. The link is here. Okay. What we will do is we are going to click on here and then check the alert, and maybe we will type something here, hello world, and then click OK, and then verify if the text is displayed in here, something like that. We can also use, this simple alert. This is simple alert, just confirm bugs. You don't have another option. The developer is not giving you an option. You have to accept that alert. In the second option, you can either confirm or cancel. You can accept or not accept. You have option. If you click OK, or you can click cancel. The third one is the confirm, the prompt alert. In here, you can also type, hi, I am here. And then say, OK, hi, I am here. These are all, alert related tasks. We can do just automate one of them. So I will automate the last one here. It will cover all of them. I will just inspect this element. But before inspecting, let's write our test case. I'm going to write my test case right here. Feature alerts. Scenario. Test case 01. Alerts. Alert automation. like that. Then I will write my test case. I will say given I navigate to the page right here. I will go to this page. Given I go to there, and I click on alert. It was the last one prompt. At last one, we will click on it. Then we will enter, and I enter. I am here. Then, and click OK. And click OK. And then I verify the page contains, or the result contains I am here text, this one. Okay. So this is the future file. Let me share from the chat. Oh, I shared twice, just copy one of them. Then the same steps, generate the step definition. I will make this. Oh, I need to use a tag. Let me use a tag here. Alert. By the way, tag can be used also in scenario or in the future level. I'm just using a future level. I will use this tag to run, and I will generate step definition. So I will make dry run true, and then run. Running it. 1, 2, 3. These 3 missing step definition is here. I am going to go ahead and put it in my step definition. My step definition is test page. This is the alerts. Go. Alert related step definition are here. Now that I am able to generate my step definition, and if you see any red, it means you need to import. You are missing some statement. You just import that library. Okay, I'm done with my future file. Generate my step definition. Let's locate the page object, because I need to click on alert prompt. I have to locate that alert prompt. And I also need to locate the result section. Let's do that. I'll go to my test page and then put here alert elements. Okay, let's go here. And we can do automation of any of them. I will select the last one because it is the hardest one. If you are able to do that, you can do other one easily. So let's do it. I am going to write an expert for it. Button is the tag. The attribute is attribute on click. The value of that on click is JS prompt. Okay, this is the last element that I'm trying to find. Attribute tag is button. Attribute on click value is JS prompt. Copy that and share from the. I'm sharing this from chat. Let me go ahead and locate it. Public. Public. Let's give a name on that. I will give JS prompt button. JS prompt button is equal to, or the data type is Selenide element, is equal to $. I will locate that by XPath. My XPath is right here. Okay. Share this. This is my JS prompt. Okay. So we will click on it. Then we will type in, I am here, and click OK. And by the way, when you right click, if the alert is here, when you right click, you will not be able to right click. You will not be able to click anywhere else. Yeah, I'm trying to click somewhere else. It is not possible. So you have to click either OK and cancel to continue to do some task on the page. I will click OK, and then we will verify if the result contains that I am here keyword. But let's also locate this result section. That has an ID of result. So I'm going to locate that by ID. Here, the second element is public Selenide element result is equal to by parentheses by.id. ID of that result is result. Okay, done. I am done with my two of the alert elements. Okay. Now I'm going to add my logic to complete my test case. That's it. Let's do step definition. My step definition is here. I am going to test page step definition. I am going to click on the alert prompt first. Go to test page, get the JS prompt button, and then click on it. Done. This is what the first method is going to do. The second method is going to enter some text on the dialog box and then click OK. So again, this is important. We need to use WebDriver runner, a WebDriver runner right here, and get the driver, get WebDriver right here. This is going to give us the driver. That we have to switch to the alert. Switch to the alert. Then what do you want to do that with alert? You can click OK. You can click cancel. You can get the text of the alert. You can also type in there. So we are going to type in. We are going to type in the data that we passed from the future file, which is equal to string. Okay, we are going to type whatever we passed here. In this case, it is I am here. Okay, done with the second test step. The third step is I'm going to check if the result contains the data that I passed. I'm going to say, I'm going to go to the page. But here we can use actually Selenide assertions. Okay, go to the page and then get the result. And then that result should have the text of string. Remember, we learned assertion yesterday. So what this will do is this will get the element. This will get this element, the whole element right here. Okay, this element by ID result. It will get it, and it will check if the element contains a text, which is I am here. Yes, it will. It should pass. But let's see. This is done. Let me copy and share from the chat. Did I click OK? Oh, yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. I forgot to put here click OK. Yeah, I just entered here, entering text, then click OK. So we did not click OK. So we have to click OK. So, okay, this is important, guys. We must switch to the alert to click OK. Because if you try to, what is the locator of this OK button? There is no locator because this is just an alert. It is not a part of this HTML. This OK is not part of HTML. It is a JavaScript functionality. In that case, we have to use that switch technique again. WebDriver, get active driver, switch to alert, then accept. This is gonna click OK. If you say here dismiss, it will click dismiss. Perfect. Let me share. Yes. Go. Let's now run our runner. Right on false. I will make this alert run. Let's run it. Let's see if our test case is passing. Okay, there we go. Perfect. We are able to get that done. So we are able to switch to the alert. We are able to type some text. We are able to verify if the text is entered and visible in the result. Okay. That is pretty much it with alert. It is not a big deal in automation, but if you see alert, you have to handle it. That is a big deal. And you have to know how to handle, and this is how we handle alerts. Okay. Let me know if you have any question. So we are able to click, enter, I am here, click OK, and it was, this text was containing, I am here. So then you can move on, whatever you want to do on that page, either manual test or automation testing, you can continue. Okay. Okay. Now, this is pretty much what alert is about. To wrap up, alert is generated by JavaScript in the web pages. And when there is an alert, it must be handled. You have to click either OK or cancel, or you have to enter some dialog box. But first you have to switch. And in Selenide, you have to switch by using WebDriver runner API. This WebDriver, get driver, and then either accept, dismiss, get text, or cancel. Yeah, let me share the whole code. Are you able to get it from the GitHub as well? You know, you can also get it from GitHub. Oh, but latest one don't have it in the GitHub. Let me share the whole step definitions. They're not there. Okay. Let me know if you have anything else so far. You know, any other code so far. Let me know. Any other code do you need? I will push the code again right after we are done with the iframe. So if there's an alert, we have to handle, and this is how we handle with Selenide. Again, when I show you a topic, it is probably applicable with all of the automation framework, whether you are working with Selenium or Playwright or WebDriver IO. It is the same logic, but the methods are different. The logic is the same, testing logic is the same. The methods or the way that we handle it can be different. So once you learn one automation framework, it is easy to learn or easy to improve yourself easily in a different automation framework. Okay, let me see. I verify the result contains I am here. Yeah. So Hüsnü, you cannot use string within a string. So that's why your result, like if you say I am something like that here, this is problem. You cannot use something like that because in this case, system is getting confused. Okay. So you can try using the single quote like that. That is fine. Single quote is fine, but double quote, because in that case, system is getting confused. So make sure you delete that double quote after I am here. Okay. And looks like there is no matching step definition, but we should avoid using string, double string within a double string. If you want to do that, you have to use single quote. Right. So I shared also, let me share also the alert alert feature file. And by the way, guys, if you have, let's say, if you just by mistake, if you put, you know, spelling, yeah, it means there is no matching step definition. So now, for example, between click and OK, there are 2 spaces. There is no matching Java step definition, so this will fail. If you see something like highlighted, it means there is a mismatch. There is no match for this step in the step definition class right here, okay? So make sure you be careful on, you know, those match. For instance, when I click 1 space, okay. When I click 1 space, okay. So if I put here 2 spaces like that, 2 spaces, then the aligned step must have also 2 spaces. Otherwise, they will not see each other. Like when I put here 1 space, 2 space, now they are matching. This is how Cucumber works. Again, I did not get into too many technicals because of the limited time. But if you already attended the classes, you know them already. So be careful. There are extra details that you can also check. All right. But if you have an issue, you can let me know anytime and I can answer from the chat. Next and last topic of today is frames. Frames. Okay, frames. Now let me share also test page. Start frames. Test page. Go. So last topic is frames. Iframes are used to create or to add, it's like page within a page. For example, you have a website and you can embed or insert an external website using iframe. For example, Wikipedia. If you want to insert Wikipedia on your page, you can do that using iframes. That is development knowledge. From the testing perspective, if there is an iframe, we have some problem with automation. We have to know how to deal with iframe, and in Selenide, it is easy. So when there is an iframe, by just looking at the page, you may not understand. But sometimes, you know, there are some scroll bars or some type of map or YouTube video on the page. It means there is a high chance of there is an iframe on that page. If there is a scroll bar or some video, right, map, then you might see iframes. Sometimes there may be images, but not always. You need to inspect the HTML element to make sure if there is an iframe or not. If there is a not iframe, if there is no iframe, you just no need to extra switch. But if there is an iframe and if you want to get in the iframe, you have to switch to the iframe. There are 3 ways to switch. 1, by index. 2, by name or ID. If you just say whatever the ID or name of the iframe, you can pass that directly. Or if there is no iframe, there is no name, there is no ID, then you can write a dynamic XPath by using any locator you want. So you have to switch to iframe if there is an iframe on the page, otherwise you cannot continue. So let's see how we can switch to the iframe and what is the iframe. So I will share a link with you. Let's go find our iframe link. Is that? Let me go to the page one more time. So we will see the manual use case for an iframe then we will automate that iframe page. All right, so let me share this link. It is pretty much on the same page with the iframe. If you search for iframe, you will find it right here. Okay, this iframe. So here, I am looking at this page, and there looks like an iframe, right? Because there is a scroll bar, and there is a page within another page. This is an iframe. To make sure, I'm going to right-click on this, and then inspect the HTML element. Is there an iframe? So to be able to check if there's an iframe, you can do Control F to search here, and then use double-click and use iframe. And it will tell you how many iframes are there on the page, is there an iframe. And in my search, there is only one iframe. There is only one iframe. So it means if I want to get into this iframe, and if I want to do click anywhere or click any of these, if I want to do anything inside this section right here, this is the iframe, then I have to switch to the iframe. And it is easy to switch to the iframe with Selenide. So here, normally my driver is here. By default, driver is always on the main page, WebDriver runner, right? And if I want to get in something and maybe get this text, then I have to switch to the frame by index, which is, in this case, there is only one iframe. So index start at 0. Okay, if I want to switch to the first, I will say 0 right here, or by ID or name. Let's say this iframe does not have an ID or name, but if there is an ID, for example, ID equals FR, then I can put here FR in a string, FR, okay? Or if there is a name, and name is equal to ABC, there is a name attribute, the name attribute is equal to ABC, as an example, then I can put here also ABC. One of them will work. If there is no ID, no name, and if you don't want to use index, that is fine. We can write an expat for it. Expat. For example, / iframe. We can do that as well. Okay, / iframe, I can do that as well. So I can use ID, I can use name, I can use expat, I can use index to switch to the iframe. Once you get into the iframe, you can do some automation script. You do whatever you want in that iframe. And once you need to get out of the iframe, you also need to go to the default window. Okay? So you have to switch to the default window or parent content to get out of the iframe. Otherwise, you will stuck here. And you will not be able to do anything else on the other website. Okay? On the main page. It is like a hole. If you get into the hole, you do something in there, then you have to get out of the hole. Otherwise, driver will be stuck here. Okay. So, and we have to switch to the default content or parent content. Get out of the frame. And if you want to do something else again in the iframe, guess what? You have to switch to the iframe again using the same technique. This is the logic. Now we will need to do some automation script to understand that. Okay. So yeah, let me first write the test case. Let's write the test case first. We did not write the test case yet. So let's create a new feature file 08_ frames. Okay, frames. And also I will show you new windows, part of that new windows as well. New, because the content is the same, almost the same as part of this feature file. I will show you how to deal with iframes, and I will show you what happens if there is a multiple window. For example, in that page, we will get into the iframe and we will click on here, back to Techpro Education. Then it will open in a new window and we will work on here on this page, how we can do that, right? We will be taking care of that. But first, focus on iframe. I will write a future file, a test case. Let's use a future keyword, and this is iframe, and given I navigate to sorry, this is scenario first. This is test case 01 frame, given I navigate to, let's go to that link, our iframe link. Okay, given I navigated here, and I verify the header contains, just a second, let me see if I already created something related. Page header. Okay, anyway, the page header, the page header contains frame keyword. I will explain what that is. There is a header on the page right here, this one, and I will assert if that header contains actually iframe, not frame, but iframe. Iframe. And I switch to the frame 1 because there is one frame. I will switch to that frame 1 right here. I will get into that frame 1. This is frame 1. And my goal is also to create a reusable step for that. So when you use that reusable step with Selenide, you will be able to switch to any frame that you want. Okay, I will switch frame 1. And I click on this link, back to Techpro education. Okay, back to Techpro education. And this one. I click on back to Techpro education. Let's do so far. Okay, let's do so far. Let's generate the first. I will add a tag on this. I will put a tag. Tag will be iframe. Let me share this with you. And then I will put in runner this tag, and I will do dry run true to run dry, so I can get the step definitions faster. Okay. Now I got my step definitions. So here I verify the page header contains something, switch to the frame, and click on back to techproeducation.com. Let me put that in the step definitions. Okay. Right now, I'm going to complete my Java code. So we are able to write our future file, generate step definition, and now I will write my Java code. But before that, I need to find the page object. So let's locate this header right here. So just to make sure that we are on the page. Okay, header is h3. There it is. I'm going to locate that by XPath. Going to the page class, public Selenide element, page header is equal to by expert is h3. And let me put here alerts, not alert, but this is frames, right? This is page header. And now I will verify the page header. So I will go to test page header should have the text of header, which is string, okay? This is just going to verify if the page contains the text that we are passing, if the page header contains the text that we are passing. All right, so I will do that in a minute, but I will try to click on that element that, back to the techproeducation.com element. So I'm going to locate that element. Let's locate it. This guy right here. Right click inspect. A type button. Let's see. A add type equals button. This is the expert. There we go. This is the expert for that element. I'm going to go to the page. Find my second web element for that test case. Back to Techpro. This is the element name that I choose. My expert is here. Okay, let me share these two frame elements. So finally, I will just try to click on that back to Techpro Education. Click on the Techpro Education. So I will go to page header. Sorry, I will go to the back to Techpro Education and I will try to click on it. Okay, so see what happens. Guys, this element right here is outside of iframe, but this element is inside the iframe. So I will just try to run it to see if I am able to click on that Techpro before I switch. I just want to show you this is not going to work. So I will just make try run true and run the test case. Let's see. Okay. Which test case? Let me check. Iframe. Okay, let me close, not close the browser because we cannot see that. Let me here and I hold the browser open. Let's run one more time. Oh, try run. Okay, try run. I did try run. Try run false. Thank you. So let's see if the automation script is working if you are able to click on the back to Techpro Education link. Okay, back to Techpro Education link is here, but let's see if the system is going to click on it. Okay, system is trying to look for it, looking for it. And as you see, it is not found. The element is not found. Our link is not found. And the reason is there is an iframe on the page. So if you see this kind of no such element exception, it means the element is not found. It can be either inside the iframe, or it can be, there can be an alert on the page, so your system cannot continue, or there can be multiple windows that you have to switch. This is alert problem. How do you fix it? So the fix is we need to switch to the alert, just like that. How do we switch alert in Selenide? Again, we just use switch to method, right? Switch to, but I have to let me import that static import. See here. Okay. So we need to switch to alert by using, sorry, switch to frame by using the switch to function. Let me see. Switch to. So actually I can use that the long way, or I can use the short way, but let me use long way because I did not do static import. Let's do again the long way. WebDriver runner, get active driver, switch to frame. Okay, frame. So we just used that logic in a minute ago. We can now use frame, and there are 3 ways, as we said. We can use index, name or ID, or web element. I'm gonna just use the maybe index in this case. Okay, index, and I will say int 1, init 1 minus 1. It is because I want to switch. Okay, I want to switch the first frame, which is index of 0. So my int 1 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, which is the first frame. Okay, so that's why I'm adding -1 here. So whenever I want to switch to a frame, this reusable method is gonna switch to the frame. So if I want to check the switch to the first frame, then put 1. If there are multiple frames, second frame, put 2, fourth frame, or if you want to put the fourth frame, you can put 4 here. But there is just one frame, I will put 1. Since I put 1 here, I need to here put -1 because I want to click on index of 0. Now let's try. Okay, let's see, waiting. Let's see if the system is able to click on this back to Techpro education. Yeah, now we are able to click on it. And the new window is opened. The new window is opened, right? So we are able to click on it. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this use case. Please run and let me know how it goes so far. Let me share the future file. This is future file, and I will share the entire step definition, including this frames. So again, sometimes you can see only like this, okay, switch to. In that case, you can import the static method. Like in Selenide, things are a little bit simpler. Or you can use like long way. For example, in here also, we are able to just say text and import static, do the static import. You can either use short form or long form. It doesn't matter which one you use. Here I am using, maybe we can use short form, right? Or maybe long form, it doesn't matter. Again, all we need is to be aware of that you can either call those methods by class name, or you can just do the static import if you don't want to call them, right? All the names. I will just do that. For now, I will just call by name, so you can see where it is coming from. Okay, let me know if there is any question before I show you one last thing for today, which is how to switch to the new window and how to take care of the new window elements. Right here, when I click on this back to the Techpro education, it opened the new window, right? But Selenium cannot, or Selenide cannot automatically switch to this window. We have to switch to that window from here. From here to here, we have to switch to that window, right? Okay. So let's write one more step right here to switch to that window. Then I switch to window 2, okay? Window 2. I switch to the window 2. And let's say when I switch to window 2, let's use some different annotation. And let's say then I get the URL of the page and verify it contains, what is the Techpro education URL contains? Let's see, a reasonable test case. That URL contains this Techpro education, okay, this one right here. To verify that if we are able to on the right page, if we are on the right page, then this test case should pass. Right? So again, this is just to show you how we can switch to the window. Is there any difference between driver and get web driver? So I am not sure the details on that. I need to check, but in Selenide, get web driver is a little bit more common as far as I see. So driver also should do the same thing if it does the same thing, but what exactly there is difference between driver and get web driver that is coming from web driver runner, I'm not sure. But if you use driver, it is pretty much sounds like Selenium. It's a little bit old fashioned, but get web driver, it is a little bit like kind of new, but not 100% sure. Okay, I will check it. So now here, we need to switch to the second window. But again, we have to generate our step definition first. I will do dry run true, run it. Okay. And I generated my two-step definition. We are going to create a reusable step for switching between the windows. Let me go to my test page step definition. Test page step definition. This is switching window. And if there is any red, you can just import it simply. Right now, I'm going to switch to the window. But before I switch, I want to show you why we have to switch if there is a window pop-up or window open, new window opens. First of all, let me not switch and try to print the title of the page. I'm going to get the title of the page URL of the page before I even switch. Then which URL I'm going to get? Oh, what happened? IntelliJ quit again. Let me open IntelliJ again. Okay, there we go. Right. Okay, there it is. Let's rebuild shares. Let's wait for it. Now I'm going to finish my step by just completing this test case. First, again, when we click on the back to Techpro education, new window opens, new tab opens, but driver is still on the old page. Let's see if we are able to get the title and which title we are getting. So let me show that. Okay, still it is indexing. I'm going to use the WebDriver runner, and I will get the URL, and I will also, let's get the URL only. I will get the URL. The refresh is done. So let's see, before I switch, which page we are on. Let me also put some weight, and I wait for, let's say, wait for maybe 5 seconds before we continue. Right. Let's do that. So I am going to click on back to Techpro Education. I'm not going to switch the window. Okay, I'm not going to switch the window. Let me not switch the window. Waiting for 5 seconds, and I will try to verify if the page. Okay, let me see. If the page URL contains Techpro Education. So I will do assertion, assert true, WebDriver runner URL contains our data that we sent. So this will pass if the URL contains Techpro Education. This will fail if URL does not contain Techpro Education. Then I am also printing the URL in addition to that. Let's run it. Let's try run false. I'm running test case. Again, I did not switch to the next page, and I am trying to do the test case, and it should fail. Let's see. Click on this. Back to Techpro Education. Clicked on it. Now new window is opened, but driver is still here. Driver is still here. Okay, driver is still here. So let's see. Did we switch? Just a second. Where is my? Let me run one more time. Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, this will pass because the old page, does it contain also Techpro Education? Yeah, it also contains Techpro Education. Let's do this. Let me do this. This will pass anyway. Techproeducation.com. Or let's see, let's see which page. It is gonna pass anyway because the first page and the second page contains that same header, that same text. But what is the title? What is the title? Let's see. Okay, let me run one more time. I just want to show you the title. The current URL on the page. Okay, click on that Techpro Education. Okay, in the new page. So let's see what is the title of the page. Okay, guys, the title is here. The title is here. Okay, the title is here. Let's see which page is it. Which page the driver is on. Driver is on this page, still on the iframe page. So we have to switch to the new window. So let's switch it. Let's switch it. Now I'm gonna switch to the new window. This one right here. I'm gonna switch to the window 2. So, and I'm trying to create a dynamic method for that. For that, I need to just use switch to window. Switch to window. And it is similar to the one that we just did right here. Is that right here? So I'm gonna go ahead and call WebDriver. WebDriver runner, get active driver, and then switch to. In this case, I will switch to the window. We don't need to use any window handle, get window handle. In Selenium, it is very tough to switch to the new window, but in Selenide, all we have to do is call window function and then put the index. Again, index start at 0, so I will put -1 here. Switch to window. Window -1. Let's see. Just a second. I'm gonna import this. Okay. Yeah, when we need to import that from the let's see. Yeah, we need to import that class, guys. We need to import the static import, then it will work. Okay, right here. Because there is some switch that is coming from Selenide switch to class. So when you import this, let me share this static method. It will be easy for us to use that switch to. There you go. I will answer the questions when we are done. And right here, okay, switch to window. In fact, we can also do the same thing, same library. We don't need to use them, but I already typed them, so that can stay there. And by the way, you can also import those statically if you want to. You can also import those static URL just like that, or something you can do anyway anytime. But I prefer for the beginners to use those, so you can see which one is coming from where. You can be familiar with that. But normally we can use static imports as well. So now this will automatically switch to the new window. Okay, this is possible with Selenide. This is not possible with Selenium. In Selenium, it is very tough. So you have to get the window handle. You have to get the list of other list of all of the open windows, and you can switch to that window handle. There is a term in window handle in Selenium, but in Selenide, you just use one single method and use the index of the window that you want to switch to. Which window you want to switch to, right? For example, you want to switch to right here, window 1. This is window 1. Sorry, this is window 2, but index is 1. This is window 3, index of 2. This is window 0. Sorry, window 1, index of 0. So index start at 0. So what we did is we just said switch to window 2, which is index of 1. Okay. So it will switch to this window automatically. If you want to switch from here to here, you can do window 2. If you want to switch from here to other window again, back to this window, you can use switch to this window again. So it is a big, huge bonus plus for the advantage of Selenide to Selenium is overall, Selenide has more dynamic, robust method that is easier to use. Things are a little bit simpler and easier with Selenide because, you might heard of, you might hear about the new technology, new automation tools like that is alternative to Selenium, because Selenium is, since it does not have a professional parent company, it is just an open source. It can be, it is a little bit kind of old fashioned nowadays. Selenide generated by Selenium, which is more powerful, and some of the functionalities are better, newer. It is like upgrade of Selenium. The good news is when you, again, I talked about this in the first class, when you add Selenide, it means you can also use Selenium. There is no reason not to use Selenide, right? It is gonna import also Selenium right here. You see Selenium libraries. It will also let you add Selenium libraries that can be used with Selenide with no issue. So that's pretty much it. Let me run this runner one last time to see if we are able to now print the URL of actual Techpro education. Okay, click on this guy right here. Right, and wait for 3 seconds and print that URL. URL should be exactly this. Let's see if it is exactly this. Yeah, it is right here, techproeducation.com. We are able to print this Techpro education. Can you switch back to the previous page? Right? Yes, why not? So all I have to do is I want to switch to window 1. Okay, and let's put 5 seconds. If you want to, you don't need to put 5 seconds, anything, but here you can switch back to the window 1, and even you can switch back to the window 2. So you can switch back and forward between the windows. Let me run it. Okay, now we are on window 1. Get in the iframe, click on that test Techpro education, this one right here. Now we are on the window 2, switch window 2, print URL to assertion. Okay, and see, it was very fast, I think. That's why it was very fast, but you can switch this window. You can switch between window 1 and window 2. See if that is working. All right. Yeah. This is gonna, when you put 1, it will switch to window 0. When you put 2, it will switch to window 1. Window 1. If you put 3, it will try to switch to window 3. Okay, that's it for today. If there is any question, let me know. I will now answer your questions, and we will continue tomorrow. Okay. What are the trends which will be used in the future, Selenium or Selenide? So Selenide and Selenium, they are not alternative to each other. Okay, they are kind of supporting each other. But as I said, Selenide is new version of Selenium. So Selenium is a little bit like field outdated. Of course, it is still number 1, and it will be number 1 in the near future. But there are lots of competition in the automation field, so we should always upgrade ourselves. That's why I am putting these upskill sessions. It is gonna add you value, because sometimes with normal Selenium, you can do one thing, but it can be a little bit harder. For example, switching to the next window. It is challenging with normal Selenium, but with Selenide, just one line of code, that's it. They are not alternative to each other. They are supporting each other. And again, I will put some more sessions that is different, like that is similar to Selenium learners. It will be a little bit easier to learn, but not as easy as Selenide, because Selenide is almost same as Selenium. But there are some other tools that I am preparing some lessons, some classes, and we will be announcing it when it is ready in the upcoming maybe weeks. So we will also announce it. So stay in touch. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I will push the code and give it to you link one more time, so you can get those codes from the GitHub. And for now, thank you for joining, and have a good rest of the day. Bye for now. I will see you tomorrow at the same time. We have 2 sessions tomorrow, 2 sessions Sunday. That's it. And tomorrow we will be talking about, let me see, a heads up for you. Tomorrow we will be talking about some actions classes, mouse and keyboard actions, explicit weights, reporting. In Selenide, you will like reporting. There are beautiful reports. We will talk about taking screenshot reporting. And on the last class, we will talk about cross-browser testing and a little bit more reporting as well. So we will see how it goes. Okay, guys, thank you for now. Have a good rest of the day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.